Good morning, everyone. Hey. Come, whoever you are welcome here. Whatever your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. However you came here, if you came alone or with others, you are welcome here. Whomever you love, however you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. If you come with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands, then you are indeed welcome here. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans. For almost 200 years, this congregation has been a beacon of liberal faith, spiritual self-fulfillment, and commitment to making our community and our world a better place for all. Hi, I'm Tucker. My pronouns are they, them, or he, him. If you're a visitor, we invite you to raise your hand so that we can greet you. Yay! Hi, new friends. Welcome. Wow, amazing. Also, throughout the service, we want to ensure that everyone in attendance can hear. So if you're unable to hear any of the speakers, please wave your hand or give us one of these, and we'll do our best to speak up. If anyone of any age would like some activities, fidgets, toys, other things to help them be more present with the service, you can find pew packs for different age ranges on the table near the main entry door. After the time for all ages this morning, children are welcome to follow our teachers to the kids' room if you prefer. It's through this door. The kids' room is set up during Sunday services for guided learning and play about UU values. It's right out the door behind us on your left and around the corner on the right. And if you have any questions about religious exploration programming, you can find a member of our RE team during coffee hour. RE team, you want to raise your hands? Yeah, there's a couple folks here today. So, we are a lay-led congregation. On Sunday mornings, we ask UU ministers, other religious professionals, leaders from social justice organizations, and our very own members to be voices of hope, courage, and spiritual or intellectual transformation from our pulpit. Our worship leader today is Mich González. Hello, yes. Little applause for our friend, thank you. Mich, he, him, or they, them, is a transgender movement lawyer, abolitionist storyteller, and immigrants' rights activist from Miami who has found a sacred home with chosen family here in New Orleans. Welcome, Mich. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. All right, y'all, please rise in body or spirit and join me in lighting the chalice of our heritage. You can join us in reading the words that are in your order of service, and we'll sing our sung response following. We light this flame for the sacred melody. Please remain as you are for our opening hymn, which you can find in the teal hymnal, number 1108, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Now is the time we welcome all of those who are either young or young at heart to join us up here in the front on the carpet squares for a story. Gabe, thank you so much for getting us started.
What's up? All the young people disappeared. There's so many. But it's fine. I have y'all as a captive audience. Would anybody else like to join me up here to read Where Could Mama Be? Yes! Volunteers! Yay! Hi, Zayd. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful crown. Okay. Today we are reading Where Could Mama Be? A story by Emily Del Cid, Isayana Lopez Cruz, and Daisha Saunders. Sometimes I wonder when Mama leaves, what is she doing? Does she miss me? Is she an artist painting the sky, drawing unicorns and dragons that fly? Whoa. Is she a skater rolling through the wild, collecting what's good and serving up smiles? Is she the queen of baby bees, watching them buzz from flowers to trees? Yeah? Is she an astronomer studying stars, discovering ways to get us to Mars? Say, look. Whoa. Is she a spy dressed in black, protecting us from werewolf attacks? Whatever she does, wherever it may be, I know when she can, she'll come back to me. She's coming back. Baby, baby, while I was away, I made up faces, I served with speed, I taught, I learned, I helped students in need. See other moms doing all those things? Wow. And while I was doing all that I do, I was loving, missing, and thinking of you. The end. Yay! Thank you so much for reading that with me.
Thank you so much, Gabe. Blessed be the mamas, y'all. Oof. All right. So children are welcome to spend the rest of the service here with us or join us in the kids' room down the hall on the right. Thanks. Yeah. All right. So y'all, for our meditation today, I've been thinking a lot about Assata Shakur since finding out that she passed away in Cuba on Thursday. Assata was convicted in May of 1973 for supposedly killing a New Jersey state trooper during a shootout that left one of her fellow activists dead. She was shot twice by police during this incident. I could go into some specifics, but in general, a person who's been shot in the way that she was could not hold a gun to shoot a police officer. In 1979, she managed to escape from jail and later fled to Cuba, where she received political asylum, and she has long proclaimed her innocence, as with everyone else who knows her. I think part of what I wanted to share today before I read a beautiful poem by Assata is that she was one of the first people, I think, when I was in college who really politicized me around, we can't trust the government, or we can't trust what the government says about political activists, especially ones who are working toward Black liberation in a real way. She was added to the FBI watch list in 2013, many years later, and I highly recommend, there is a Democracy Now! Interview from 2013 where her lawyer and Angela Davis speak a bit to what this means and why the first Black woman on the FBI watch list was added to it so much later after her conviction. But I think I've been sitting this week with a lot of reflections from Black leaders today who are doing movement work and really sitting with Assata's legacy, her writings, her work, incredible quotes from her. And I think one thing I wanted to share is that when I was a young person here in New Orleans, I grew up in an organization called Rethink. At the time it was called Kids Rethink New Orleans Schools, cool crew. So 2006 is when that organization started. And at that time, we used to chant one of her quotes a lot. It's one that y'all have probably heard. You've probably heard it in the streets. And I wanted to share it just briefly. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Amen, indeed. She left us with a poem called Affirmation. I'm sure some of you have heard it this week, but even so, it's always worth returning to. So for our meditation, I'm going to read this poem, and then we're going to have a couple moments of silence, which we'll close together by singing the song Voice Still and Small. The words are in your order of service. For this poem, I invite you to get comfortable, find your footing, take some deep breaths, whatever you need to do. She says, I believe in living. I believe in the spectrum of beta days and gamma people. I believe in sunshine, in windmills and waterfalls, tricycles and rocking chairs. And I believe that seeds grow into sprouts, and sprouts grow into trees. I believe in the magic of the hands, and I believe in the wisdom of the eyes. I believe in rain and tears, and in the blood of infinity. I believe in life, and I have seen the death parade march through the torso of the earth, sculpting mud bodies in its path. I have seen the destruction of the daylight, and I have seen bloodthirsty maggots prayed to and saluted. I have seen the kind become the blind, and the blind become the bind, in one easy lesson. I have walked on cut glass. I have eaten crow and blunder bread and breathed in the stench of indifference. I have been locked by the lawless, handcuffed by the haters, gagged by the greedy. And if I know anything at all, it's that a wall is just a wall, and nothing more at all. It can be broken down. I believe in living. I believe in birth. I believe in the sweat of love and the fire of truth. And I believe that a lost ship, steered by tired, seasick sailors, can still be guided home to port. Thanks, y'all. Please join me as we read our responsive reading. It's in your gray hymnal. It's called Connections Are Made Slowly, the Seven of Pentacles, and it is number 568. All right, 568, Connections Are Made Slowly. I'll begin, and please respond with the text in italics. Connections are made slowly. Sometimes they grow underground. More than half a tree is spread out in the soil under your feet. Fight persistently as the creeper that brings down the tree. Gnaw in the dark and use the sun to make sugar. Leave real connections, create real moves, build real houses. Live a life you can endure, make love that is loving. Keep tangling and interweaving, taking more in, the thick and rare wilderness to the outside, but to us interconnected with the backgrounds and burrows and layers. Live as if you like yourself, and it may happen. Reach out, keep reaching out, keep bringing it in. This is how we are going to live for a long time, not always. For every gardener knows that after the digging, after the planting, after the long season of tending and growth, the harvest comes. Thanks, y'all. Mitch, whenever you're ready, friend.
I feel like, let me see. Hello, hello. Good morning, y'all. Yeah, I'm going to talk about sort of like some reflections from the height of the pandemic. So if everyone wants to, I just want to warn you. Because you remember that time when we thought that was the biggest global disaster we'd be surviving. Yeah, you stay ready, got to get ready, you know what I mean? So if you want to take a breath with me, I think that would be helpful. All right. So I'm Mich González, and second generation American, Cuban Puerto Rican roots, and originally from Miami. So I'll take us back to right before, they actually were willing to acknowledge the global pandemic. And I was living and working in South Florida, and I was litigating against terrible things that Governor DeSantis, who sadly is still the governor, was doing, as well as trying to get folks out of detention centers here in Louisiana through lawsuits. And my godmother, who, was a larger-than-life figure for me growing up. This was a woman who, every family gathering, would play guitar and sing drunkenly to all of us, Janis Joplin, and who, cooked and laughed and was a very heartbroken person, but was constantly being hilarious. It was like a very sad, dark, brooding person, but who was always making jokes. And anyway, she fell and she ended up in the hospital, and it was strange. And my parents are both nurses. My dad is here. And she got sick, and it was very strange. And she developed like double pneumonia. And this was January 2020. And my mom was in the hospital with her. We were all in the hospital with her. We were there with her on her deathbed. And I remember my mom just being confused about what was going on. And we were all able to be with her there in her final moments. and we played her favorite music for her. Even though she was intubated, she was like singing along with us. And anyway, fast forward to when they finally start acknowledging what is happening and what's been happening. And my parents end up being travel nurses. They end up serving as travel nurses, being sent all over the country to wherever there was the greatest need. So, during the height of the pandemic, they saw a lot of death. And I'll never forget my mom's first day serving on a COVID unit, that one of the first things she had to do that day, there was a man who had been intubated, and it was one of those situations at the time where once you were intubated, it was known that this was it. There wasn't gonna be much that could be done for you. But at this point, since they had finally acknowledged what was happening, nobody could go in there to see him, obviously. He was quarantined. The nurses, this is before we had vaccines. So really everyone is putting themselves in harm's way. And they give my mom a note from the family, and the family is just wanting to say their goodbyes. So they've all, this man's wife, this man's children, they've all written these really loving words, but they're all written like in the past tense. It's about like as if he's already passed away. But my mom takes the note, and they're like, here, this is like one of the first things she has to do. And instinctively, because she's a mother and because she's a nurse of 25 years, she reads the man all of the words of love and comfort from his family, but she changes it all to present tense, right? To not terrify him. He's alone, and I'll never forget the day she realized that it was actually COVID that had taken my godmother away from us, when she had seen the scans of all these people look exactly like the scans from my godmother. And, that is overwhelming. There was no therapy, there was a lot of talk honoring people like my parents and frontline workers. Every once in a while, a sort of performative fireworks show or something like this, but there was no therapy, resources, there was nothing given to people who were doing this. Anyway, so as it kept going on and you see enough of this, it can get pretty bleak. And one day my wife and I come home to where our parents are, and we see them, and they are cracking up after a long day serving in COVID units. I'll admit they had maybe smoked a joint. And they were cracking up, and I said, what are you people laughing about? And they were like, well, we were just talking about whether it's very ethical, that my younger brother's here, and he was in high school still at the time, whether it's ethical that we're both doing this, because what if we leave Anthony orphaned? And so we were just joking about how would we decide which one of us stops doing this? Like, should we ask him? I said, are you kidding me right now? You're gonna traumatize your child for life. But I say this to say, like, this is the only way to face that amount of death and injustice, is to have a good dark laugh about it. And that's something that, my mother taught me, that my godmother taught me before she was taken by this disease, which, to be clear, even then I was very angry, because I felt very strongly that they knew this and they could have stopped this. While millions of us were losing our loved ones prematurely, were being disabled, were being put out of work, we're losing our lives, our livelihoods, our loved ones, they made more money than they'd ever made collectively before. Oxfam reports that during the pandemic and immediately after the pandemic, or we're still in the pandemic, but during the height of it, right, during that time, the world's 10 richest men more than doubled their fortunes. They made trillions of dollars, not billions of dollars, trillions of dollars. And I don't think people understand like what that actually means. So while 99% of humanity lost not just wealth, lost life, lost health, lost community, these people grifted all of us to the tune of trillions of dollars. And so when you think about that, what we're living through now makes so much sense, right? And the fact that, and the fact that because under capitalism, you have to always make a little bit more. How do you make some more after that kind of windfall? And what more proof do we need that their extreme wealth is only enabled by dramatic inequality, by really truly what has turned out to be a death cult when you think about the military-industrial complex, when you think about the pandemic. And just to give you a sense, if I gave you $1 million and I told you, go spend $1,000 a day, think about that, $1,000 a day, you'd need to have at least $365,000 a year just to break even. And I told you to go spend $1,000 a day, you'd be back in about 3 years with $1 million. If I gave you $1 billion and said spend $1,000, you wouldn't be back for another 3,000 years. Just to understand that these people have more money than you could ever need or hope to need or use in 50 lifetimes or more. And that's kind of enraging. What do you do with that kind of rage? I was full of rage by the end of that year. That year, my wife and I both survived major surgery. Like I said, my parents narrowly survived the pandemic itself. They were left much sicker mentally and physically afterwards. It took a real toll on their health. And so by the end of that year, we were, needless to say, desperately looking for hope, for meaning. And so on New Year's Day, my wife and I decided we would wake up at the crack of dawn. We were gonna go and have a mushroom trip in South Florida, right? And this was somehow gonna help us out. This was gonna give us the portal and the solutions to get out of here, maybe. And so we go, it's like 5 something in the morning, maybe earlier, and we go to Miami Beach, to this place called like South Point Park, where I grew up. This was a beach I grew up in, where you could swim out and you could see coral. You could see all this beautiful tropical fish. Now it's all been bleached, it's all gone. And so we go over there, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm grumpy. I'm very grumpy, I'm irritable, I've had a horrible year, and when we get there, and we had these psilocybin chocolates, right, that we had gotten from a friend who legally purchased them in California, in case anyone is recording this. And we go, and I'm already just like, I'm over it. Like, it took forever to find parking. I'm just being such a curmudgeon right now. The parking was terrible. How could it be terrible at the crack of dawn on New Year's? Why aren't these people drunkenly home, throwing up? And we get to the beach. There's all these people there. I didn't come here to do shrooms and see people. And yes, I came here for solitude and therapy. And so we get there, we get to the beach, and it's like dreary, it's kind of chilly. My wife is feeling much better though. She's fine, because she's eaten it. I was feeling nauseous. I was like, I can't eat this right now. So she'd already taken hers, and I can tell it's already starting to have effects. So she's like cozy on the beach, she's chilling, and I'm just like looking at everybody and looking at everything. And I take the mushroom chocolate, and I can like barely chew it. It's still like so frozen, and I just like try to hawk it back. It gets kind of like stuck in my throat. I look like a seagull, like, Anyway, I finally pull it all in. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like waiting for what's about to happen, already thinking like, oh, now I'm gonna be even more nauseous. And then and of course, miraculously, like as we're sitting there, more and more people keep showing up. More and more people showing up on the beach, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this? A weird after party, like at 6 a.m.? And I'm like very annoyed. And then all of a sudden, the clouds start to part. It starts to get a little bit warmer, and the sun starts to peek up right above the water, and the entire beach, which is now filled with people, breaks out into applause. And I realize these people didn't crash my mushroom trip, okay? I was crashing their annual sacred tradition of greeting the first sunrise on the first day of the new year. And when I tell you that my heart just broke, I just started sobbing. Because it was so beautiful. You could just feel everybody was clapping like they do every year, but there was something else there in the air. It was like we were clapping at our survival of that year, and that we were still there, and there was still the sun rising on this new year that could maybe bring something else with it. And I was just, forget about it. I was like, the mushrooms were definitely kicked in. I was leaking all over the place as tents to happen. And I felt such an intense burst of empathy. These mushrooms were working hard on my brain, and I felt empathy for everyone, and I mean everyone. Even Donald Trump, I felt empathy for Donald Trump, and I know how that sounds, trust me. I'm an immigrant, I'm a trans immigrant rights activist, okay? That, even back then, he had made me so stressed out, I needed emergency dental work, and my period came back, okay? No one has more reason to despise this man than me. But I thought to myself, oh my God, he is not well. For whatever reason, he won't die, but he is not a happy man. I was like, oh my God, because you can't, there's no way that you have experienced what really is beautiful and magical about life, like a first sunset on a new year, or holding a baby, and whoever that baby is, your child, your grandchild, your nephew, your niece, your chosen family, and you've sung that baby a song that was sung to you when you were a baby by someone who loved you. And what that feels like to just nurture and grow things around you, what it feels like to eat a piece of fruit that you grew with your own hands. These people don't understand that. They don't understand that. They don't know what it's like to laugh in the middle of the night with a lover. They don't know what that's like to really touch the magic that is life. There's no way they can know what that's like, because then they couldn't possibly be okay with grifting all of us based on the destruction of this beautiful place. And so I had empathy for him. I did. And that's something that my mother taught me, and it's something that mushrooms taught me. And it's also something that has grown me into the person that I am today, was other people seeing me for who I really am and having empathy for me, which is love for me, to want me to grow into that person. That's the thing that my mother gave me in my first chapter of my life, that my wife, who is a mother to everything and everyone she touches, even if she's not a biological mother, there's no one who's not been touched by this woman who has not grown in some way, who has not been nurtured into some new beautiful version of themselves. And that couldn't, for sure, I would not be here. Couldn't be truer in my case. And I want to leave you with that in this moment, these people are hell-bent on our destruction. They're hell-bent on pitting us against each other to distract us from the fact that they're grifting all of us, particularly the planet and all of its living sentient life. But it's not for us to turn away and to descend into hopelessness. There is hope to be had right now as we speak. There is a fleet of more than 50 ships full of people that represent over 46 nationalities. That's a lot. That's almost a quarter of the nationalities that exist on planet Earth, that are on their way to the shores of Gaza to break a siege against intentional starvation and genocide. And those are civilian people. Those are people like me and you that decided enough is enough. And not only did they do that, they inspired so many people that they have forced the hand of their nation states, even unwillingly, to join and protect them. Italy has sent a Navy ship. Spain has sent a naval ship, strictly from the power of loving people. These are people who along the way saw a sea turtle struggling in the waters, struggling in netted plastic, and took a moment to stop and rescue a sea turtle. They're not so self-important in their mission that they understand the value of precious life. These are the people who make up those fleets of those ships. The first of these flotillas was a single ship named the Madeleine, and the Madeleine was named after a mother in Gaza, a mother who is one of the only fisherwomen in her town. And she explains the meaning of the word sumud, because this flotilla of ships, which was the idea of another beautiful Palestinian journalist, another woman, her idea was, why send one ship? Send a fleet of ships and try and see what they do, see how they try and to stop you. And this woman, Madeleine, she's interviewed about the name Samud. The word Samud, what does it mean? It's an Arabic word. And what it means is resilience. She explains it, there's so much history and beauty behind this word, but as she explains it, is resilience for a dignified life in our homeland. Resilience for a dignified life in our homeland. May we all experience what it is to live a life in harmony with Sumud.
Thank you, Mitch. I needed to hear some of that today, friend. Thank you. Wow, can we get one more little round of applause and deep love? Thank you. Thank you. Whew. As you use, generosity is one of our shared values. As you use, we agree to cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We understand that generosity is a spiritual discipline that connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. We can practice our act of giving either by placing your offering in the collection plate or by using the information on your order of service to give electronically. Thank you. Whew. Yeah, Dwayne, thank you. Gifts to this community of faith are gratefully received. Let us acknowledge these gifts by reading together the words in your order of service. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. Thank you. Giving and the offering plate and pledging are just a part of how we steward this congregation. There are countless other ways to serve, build community, and share our love with the rest of the city. A few opportunities coming up. First of all, today, the social justice team is having a meeting 15 minutes after the service ends. Set a timer, or we'll wave and let you know. It's going to be in the front of the chapel. Everyone is welcome. And did anyone have a spotlight announcement today? We good? Yeah, come on up.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. That was wonderful, Mitch. Thank you. As many of you know or have heard, we are this fall going to be doing a kind of visioning process for the congregation, really trying to understand together who we are, who we want to be, how we want to live our faith in this world. So we're going to be having small group discussions for that, and I'm looking for people to facilitate those conversations, to host a group at your house or at the church, and to take notes on those conversations. So if any of those sound like something you want to do, come talk to me, and otherwise stay tuned for more exciting announcements about events and stuff related to that. And I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Barrett. Hello, good morning.
All right, thanks so much, y'all. Please stand in body or spirit and join in our chalice extinguishing, which is in your order of worship. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth. And please remain as you are for our closing hymn found in your gray hymnal, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. This church is a place in our hearts and a way that we live our lives. Wherever and however we gather, we bring and share that spirit of life and love. Let us invite that spirit now to fill us as we enter into our communities. At its founding, our church was known as the Strangers Church. Please turn and greet your neighbors and join us for coffee hour just outside the back doors on your left. Thank you.